Hey everyone, welcome to our Incredibles 2. It's weird to say this, that it's happening.
2.
Incredibles 2, their
Sneak peek
trailer, teaser, what do we want to call it?
Kind of all of the above.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I see we've got lots of people that are already in the chat. If you happen to be watching this directly on our website, hello, just on pixarpost.com. You can obviously go right to YouTube if you'd like as well, and you can add any comments or questions that you have. We'll be reading some of these as we go. You can also leave tag us on Twitter. It's at the Pixar at the Pixar Post, and we'll be monitoring some things there. Of course, I'm TJ.
I'm Julie.
I'll flip out my headphones, and we are joined as usual by a special guest, and of course this time it is by the illustrious Dan the Pixar fan.
Whoa. Wow, what a title! What a title! I'll take it.
Your name is already your title, so I had to give you something above and beyond.
Wow, well, thank you. I'm happy to be here as usual.
Yes, absolutely. So I think by this point most people know who you are, but we'll give more of a description at the end. But if you don't know Dan, Dan is danthepixarfan.com, and you can check out his website dedicated to his personal collection, where he posts all about the products that he gets, and does that typically daily. Occasionally something comes up, and you do the smart thing. If you're like on a cruise, you don't do it then or something.
Yeah.
No way, that's expensive Wi-Fi there.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see, we've got, oh boy, lots of people already making some good comments out here. So Kendall, Yvonne Gamer, you're back. That's awesome. So that ugly guy, Ariel Gamer, I assume Benny92, Darth Hamilton. So hello. I said hello, Paulina. I already sent a message to you. John Fitzgerald, Happy Face Lauren. Wow, lots of people out there. So thank you very much, everybody.
Exciting.
Yes, absolutely. So I guess,
and we're wearing incredible shirts.
Yes, so
they're hard to find.
Yes, there's not a ton.
Bum, bum,
Oh,
bum, bum.
I like the theme music.
Dan was waiting for the reveal. I like it.
It had to happen.
I like it.
I was not going to show up without an incredible shirt. What am I, crazy?
I know. That's what I said. Well, I had to dig deep in TJ's closet, and I found this from The Incredible. It's a large, so it's like I'm swimming in it, but it's The Incredibles, the first one, the lighting team shirt.
Yeah.
Well,
like a
very nice item there.
Yeah.
Mine's a run of the mill, but that is very cool.
That's cool. And then mine's from the Science of Pixar museum exhibit.
I was going to ask, it looked like that, so that's cool. Really cool.
Yep. So, and then, Lauren says, ooh, Dan, you look amazing.
Thank you. Can I be part of the official Incredibles team up with this?
Sure, why not?
Ooh, we should think about what your superpower would be for the end.
Okay, we're going to ask everybody that coming up too, so keep that in mind. Live the Magic is saying, is it on? Yeah, I don't see you guys. Uh-oh.
Yeah, a couple people have said that.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen that two times now.
Okay, let's see here. And you see us, right, Dan?
Yeah. Anybody else having issues? Or is it just those couple people?
Yeah, let's see.
Can Paulina see us?
Yeah, how about that? Paulina, can you see us? There's a little bit of a delay, so we'll keep chatting in the meantime. Okay, so Dylan says refresh the page, and that might be able to help.
Okay.
Lauren says I can see you, but Sarah Robertson says nope. See if you guys, Paulina says yes, so it seems to be pretty mixed. So
let's see if you can refresh the page.
Yeah, that ugly guy says perfect on my end. Kendall says I
that ugly guy.
Yeah, that ugly guy. That's a great screen name. So yep. So perfect. So yeah, give it a. Okay, perfect. Live the Magic says okay. So yeah, so we'll see. But let us know if. Sarah Robertson says you can. All right, good. So we are good to go. So we've got quite a few viewers out here. We are ready to get going. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dan?
I think so. I'm ready.
Do it. Okay, so I think the first thing we need to talk about, like we always do, is initial reactions. And yes, if you're just joining us, then definitely keep in mind that we're going to be asking, what would your superpower be? And I got to think of this as we're talking here.
Me too.
I have not thought of this yet.
I think I just thought of one.
No.
Okay. So,
you know what? Years ago, Britta did a post on your forum asking this. Do you remember what you said?
Oh, I don't.
Oh man.
Because you did respond. Both of you responded, and so did she. And I don't remember what I said, but I should look back at it.
Oh.
All right, so we're gonna pull that up at some point.
Yeah.
We'll pull that up at some point too.
I'll pull it up when you guys start chatting. I'll look at it.
Or you could see, you could say whatever you're feeling now and see if it matches up to what you said before.
Ooh, I'll check it out. When you guys start chatting, I'll look it up.
Well, what do you think? Do you already say? Well, we can't.
No, we
can't do that.
Yeah,
now.
we'll
later.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. So, what were your first reactions? And Julie, you can start. What did you think when it first revealed?
Okay, so seeing all the teaser posters that were released that kind of show Mr. Incredible is kind of taking a domestic role.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I mean, we kind of knew that from the plot synopsis,
right.
But actually seeing it in action and being a mom, I was like, I sold. I think it's really clever. I think it's awesome the way they're doing it. I think it's awesome that they're showing Mr. Incredible Bob exhausted, because that's how I feel every day.
Right.
And I'm really excited about this. Being a mom at a different stage of my life than I was when the first Incredibles came out. You know, we were dating. We had no responsibilities. We had to pay rent, but that's about it. You know. But now being a mom and seeing this new role and this story develop, I'm really excited. So I was really thrilled in a different way.
That's interesting. So. Interesting first comment from Sarah Robertson, who says, I don't know about them pulling Helen away from the family. So that's interesting, kind of breaking the dynamic and, kind of saying like, pull her away. What does that do to the story? I can see that as being.
I kind of took it as now she's the working mom and he's a stay-at-home dad.
But it definitely feels like she's away for a long time. So we can dig into that more.
Yeah, that's kind of how I thought it was.
But I like that as like a first thought. And then Benny92 is saying a Mr. Mom theme. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
absolutely.
That's on my notes.
Yes. And there's going to be so many things that are just going to, my first reaction was, first off, I was insanely excited that we were seeing some real footage that wasn't just like Jack rolling around and Mr. Incredible saying you've got, like powers or whatever. I was excited to see it, that it was in action, that it was working, that it was going.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then Frozone being kind of like, what's going on to Jack? Because, he's like,
what the?
Yeah, it just kind of picks up right away. So I liked that.
Yeah, so all that stuff is, I was just really excited to see it. I think as far as the details, my first thought was, they definitely have upped their game. Not that we shouldn't expect anything differently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has been, 14 years. So that's something there. And then I don't remember what else I was going to say there, but I was excited to hear, like, even though it was like the original music, just hearing it, seeing it, it was just, it gets you ramped up and excited. Dan, what were your first thoughts?
My initial thoughts were how cool it was to see these characters back on the screen after so long. Similar reaction to when I saw like the Monsters University trailer or the Toy Story 3 trailer or the Finding Dory trailer. Like, it's just so cool to see new stories with these characters and seeing them look the same, yet in a way, obviously in a lot of ways upgraded, but like that feel and that look is still present. Just like when I saw the Dory trailer, I'm like, this is obviously updated. You can tell that the technology has advanced, but yet the characters and the facial expressions and the movements and the voices, it's all the characters. And that's how I felt here. Even with Dash, even with the new voice talent, I think that they completely nailed it, whoever this kid is. But it's just cool to see these characters back on screen again and see them back in action after 14 years. That was my initial thoughts, was like, they're back, and it's like flawless.
Yeah. Did you say about Dash's voice?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Huck Milner.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I think slam dunk.
Because like with adult impersonators, you can that's their job. I mean, that's the gig, is to sound like the other voice actor. They've done it for years. But for kids, I feel like that's a taller order. And for a kid to have the same sound as a previous actor is, I think, even more difficult. And I think that from what I've heard so far, which was several voice clips, really good stuff so far.
Yeah, I thought, like when I first heard it, I thought that was almost even closer. And again, we don't have that much reference to go off of than the Nemo match.
Mm-hmm.
I would 100% agree. I had that same thought so far.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So Darth Hamilton says, I forgot it wasn't even Dash's original voice actor.
See,
right?
that's
Yeah.
like
Most people are gonna, like, the average person who sees this isn't probably even gonna, it's not gonna ring a bell for them.
Yeah, and then Aiden Duncan said, just hearing the Underminer again gave me goosebumps. The trailer reminded me of watching the film when I was 2 again. And that ugly guy says that isn't considered an official trailer. It's more of a sneak peek. You're correct that we were like, what should we call this? Is it a sneak peek? Is it a teaser trailer? Is it something?
well, because Pixar's calling it a sneak peek.
They're calling it a sneak
or a
peek,
special look or.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, special look. Even though it's formatted very much like a second teaser, like a shorter trailer. It's formatted very much like a trailer rather than a sneak peek. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a couple people are mentioning that John Ratzenberger is more than likely the Underminer. He's not more than likely. He is the Underminer.
Yeah, he is. That's him all the way.
Yep.
And it'll be cool to see a little bit more of him from what I can imagine, because the last handful of Pixar movies, he maybe has a line, like a couple of words. But it'll be cool to have him more of a character in this one for a little bit longer, at least the opening sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as far as when it came on television, Dan, I think you experienced the same thing we did, that you started seeing Twitter pop up, that all of a sudden it was like, I saw it. It was hilarious. Oh my God, I loved it. And then we're looking at each other like,
well, because
we're watching this broadcast.
Yeah, from 8 and then 9:30. We're like, okay, it's got to be around 9:30, and A Wrinkle in Time commercial comes on. We're watching just NBC, and we're like, okay, it's going to be after this, and it wasn't. So then I kept looking up the hashtag Incredibles 2. People are like, oh my gosh, it's great, Edna Mode, and I'm like, what the heck? We've been watching the Olympics the whole time. We haven't gotten up.
Yeah.
And then you texted me, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I was like, Dan, are you watching something else? Like,
yeah.
And you're like, nope, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I just imagine like almost every single time, whether it's any Disney property, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, they usually drop online at the exact same moment.
Yeah. And
so I was looking online too.
Yeah,
Correct.
so then people, we sent out a tweet and people kept saying it was on NBCSN.
Yeah, the sports
network. We did not know that.
Yeah, so, well, that's not how, they weren't advertising it that way. You have to assume that there was something.
Maybe something
went awry.
Yeah, because we were still watching it, and at 11 o'clock exactly, Eastern Standard Time, PM, it dropped.
Yeah, just it was crazy. So we thought that might have been a little too late as far as for it to premiere on TV. And then, you can imagine that Pixar was probably playing catch up, trying to get everything right, because then they uploaded it to their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then I had a weird thing too, where all of a sudden it popped up on the YouTube channel, but I could only see it on my phone. I couldn't see it on the computer. So I thought that was weird too.
Yeah.
But then I got it on the computer. But anyways, so let's talk.
It picked up speed today though, which was good.
Yes. Absolutely. So let's start talking about it. So it opens. We see, behold, the Underminer. And, that
was good.
Thank you. If they ever need a replacement for Ratzenberger.
You could be the new Lucky Charm. That was good.
Oh, don't let it get to his head. That's his dream, to do just like a line or a word or something.
I want more than that technically, but
but you talk about, I just want to say something and have it be animated.
Yeah.
Since like I met him in '99.
Since I was a kid. I mean, I always wanted to do it first in Looney Tunes, and then So okay. So he blows out the bank vault and he's sucking up the money with the vacuum. I had to laugh that Did you guys
think that he looked bigger, the Underminer? Like when he sucks in Mr. Incredible into that tube, that money sucking machine?
I don't know.
I didn't have that reaction to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
but another look with that in mind, I might see that.
And
we also never really saw him in perspective with many other things. It was really only a shot or two in the original, and he's kind of at a distance. He's not next to any of the characters, so there's nothing to put it in perspective.
Yeah. He
could be very large.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you seeing the screen right now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So what is he coming out of here right at the very beginning? Is this
it's his like mole car.
He dug a little. So technically that would make him smaller, right?
That's why I thought he was like a mole or a vole or something.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, he looks decently big here. But yeah, I cracked up with the gold bars in the lower right-hand corner and just the piles of bundled money. This is in every movie.
Mm-hmm.
They always have like the giant bin of just loose money laying around.
Well, because before it was Bon Voyage.
Correct. Yeah, so I like the fact that there's still like a bank scene coming here. So yeah, people are saying, isn't that his drill? But people are saying, isn't that different from the drill?
Well, I thought it was just like his like drill car thing.
Later on, when they show like Mrs. Incredible on the train, it's during also that opening sequence, and you do see his drill more vividly. Or
right,
yeah,
right.
But there, I don't know what that thing was.
Right, and people are saying, I bet that'll be a different part than the beginning of the movie. I don't know.
I think the Underminer is going to be pretty contained, I think, to the beginning.
Yeah, I think it'll be like the first 5 minutes.
What I'm picturing is it starts off where the last one obviously ended. There's an opening sequence, a action set piece, and then the opening titles come on. Mm-hmm. And then it's dun, 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 dun. And then you get what we saw Michael Giacchino composing too. Yeah. And then it goes to the story, which is The Incredibles 2. That's how I picture it going. But
yeah, I mean, that would make sense. Yeah, like I think it's literally going to be like flip a switch. We're in the middle of the action,
right?
When the projector starts rolling the movie itself,
yeah, and
then goes, yeah, you're right,
and then to the title card. I would love that. I mean, that's what a lot of the superhero movies do. I love having like a big intro, a big epic intro, and then it's like chill-inducing when the title comes on. Right. So if they play their cards right, that could be really cool.
Well, even if they don't, they might have something up their sleeve.
Of course they do.
Yeah, we'll see. But so I thought that was cool.
Actually, you know what? The first one didn't have the title card till the very end. Now that I think about it.
Oh, you're right.
So maybe they were composing the end when during that shot in Michael's little room there. Maybe they were doing the end. Maybe they'll follow the same formula. I don't know. Yeah, now I'm second guessing myself.
The way they started the first one was so genius. I mean, I love that. It's probably one of my favorites. Openings, how it's just like such raw footage. I mean, and we know, I mean, do you remember what decade this is set in? It's never talked about, but it's hidden in there. It's hidden in the newspaper that Bob reads.
So
it is hidden in there?
The 60s?
Yeah, in the 60s, 1962. Yeah. So that's why everything kind of looks like.
Yeah, the cars are all.
Yeah, but it's kind of like that.
The Art Deco.
Modern.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
I mean, that's.
Cool,
but even. Oh, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I was just gonna say I didn't know there was ever any dates, and I always just assumed it was kind of this made up time period of like this hybrid of modern and like retro. But that's cool that there is like a specific.
Yeah,
decade.
So I think that's kind of the idea. But if you actually look at when Bob's reading the Metroville Tribune, it says, I mean, it's kind of like early on, but it's still like, you know, within a month or so of the film. It says May 15th, 1962.
That's cool. Well, that's something I didn't know.
Ah,
yeah, look at that. Julie could be giving you trivia tonight.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like a
darn it! I should have saved that.
Yeah, it's like a podcast.
When our podcast returns.
Right. So yeah, some people are saying 1960s retro futuristic look. So then we get into the.
So that's why, like, it's like all of the space stuff is kind of like that 60s mod.
Yeah. Kind
of like you think about like Walt Disney when it was, you know,
their table designs, the legs on the TV.
Yeah, but definitely. Like even like the rocket ships and like just the superhero stuff, it's kind of all that.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually heard that Brad. That's one of Brad's like favorite time periods. Anyway, is like that Walt Disney 60s era.
I mean,
kind of like Tomorrowland.
It's very
that's essentially Tomorrowland as well. So he does like that era, and I love it too. It's super timeless.
Yeah, absolutely. So then Mr. Incredible. Let's see. So it almost looks like the Underminer. Yeah, so the Underminer's vehicle. Okay, so what is this part where, as we get into the trailer a little bit again, what is this that he's in here? So we've got breach in 12 seconds, and then it goes down to 11. You've got the handheld camera shake. It's almost as if this is the Underminer's like control that he's driving his little drill.
I would say so.
So I have two theories on this.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
I shouldn't say theories because I don't like saying theories, but
you have two ideas.
Two ideas.
Okay.
I either think it's going to be the Underminer's little drill thing.
Mm-hmm.
However,
okay, I have a second thought too. So
I think it's towards the middle third act, kind of towards the end of the film.
Okay.
And it's Mr. Incredible, and you don't see Mrs. Elastigirl. And I think they're trying to defeat something.
But
and
so
I think it has to do with Mr. Devor.
Okay, so I started going that same way initially, but look at like this right here.
I know, but that's just
hang on, let me finish. Because this is the same
coloring and
the same like outline of the bank vault.
I'm getting the early opening scene vibes as well.
Well, yeah, and I guess it's red, and he came from a red glow.
He's in his super suit. Bob's in his super suit, and later in the film,
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know though.
But he might have a different suit because Elastigirl has a different suit.
But what's the breach?
Well, we don't know all of the Underminer's plan, like because. We only see him come up from below the surface.
You're
but
right.
we don't see the bank heist. We don't see him stealing money. So there's more to this sequence than we know. Like we don't know his plan or what he's up to. So I don't know. That's gonna be a surprise, I guess.
Yes. So Sarah's asking who is Mr. Deaver again. So Winston Deaver. We'll talk about him in a little bit as we get to that in the trailer and talk about some of the other characters that were announced a couple weeks back. Yeah, Deaver's the one that employs Mrs. Incredible. So yeah, so that was something that I thought. What I also thought could be kind of interesting if it happened is like, you know, Mr. Incredible might be like if we have the supers that are kind of sequestered away, if this were further in the film. So if it were further in the film, it made me think like maybe he was doing like secret bank security underground. But then I was like, no, that's got to be the...
You're right. It's got to be in the front.
Yeah. So, okay. So also, did you notice that when that alarm is going off, like when it says breach, does anybody know the noise? The ring, ring, ring.
Oh, I guess I didn't pay attention to it.
I heard it.
I didn't.
It was driving me crazy for like 20 minutes, and I was sitting there like, oh my God, what is it from? What is it from? I'm going to leave a couple seconds in case anybody in the chat comes up with it.
Yeah, I didn't catch.
Is it Wally?
Yes. Nailed it.
It's the Wally when the alarm's going off when the dust storm's coming?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, when the dust storm is coming and you hear him running in, that is the ring, ring.
Oh, I'm going to have to rewatch it and listen to it.
So
yeah, nice catch.
I'll see if I can turn this up and if you can hear it. Oh, it won't play.
Yeah, it won't play
through our other microphone. I mean, through our other, because the sound's coming through our headphones. So yes, but listen to it again. So Lauren says Wally. That ugly guy says whoa. That is the same when the dust storm is coming.
Okay.
I was so excited when I finally placed it. I was like, it was one of those moments where you finally just...
I wonder if that will be in the film or if that was just a trailer sound effect edit, because that does happen too, where they put temp sounds.
Yes.
I wondered that
even
as well.
when we've seen, there they've got, scratch sounds.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yep. I hope it's there. I hope it's there because I think that is super cool. And then that's one of the Easter eggs. There's a second one too. So
I have one too. I wonder if it's the same one.
I'm assuming it is. It's the most obvious one.
So I thought I saw
that's probably.
Yeah.
I thought I saw an Easter egg, but I'm not sure. But when we get to that scene, I'll show you.
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Oh, and then I was going to talk about the dust cloud that when, everything's coming up. So you've got his worried look. He looks back, breach.
Oh,
this. How cool is all the breaking apart, the exploding, and all
my gosh.
the debris, the dust.
Seriously, the simulation effects have, I mean, outdone themselves with each Pixar film.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the elements, the smoke, dust, in the trailer, the fire, the water, like the Jack when he, becomes his little fireball thing. All of that is, like I said before, it's still in the world. It works, but it's notably improved.
Yes. And
like just this shot right here, the cars, the depth, everything is more realistic, yet it's still The Incredibles. Like I see that shot and I know exactly what it
You're
would be from.
absolutely right. Yeah. And like, I just love the I always have to say it in one of these, right? The particulate acceleration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that when you watch this a little bit quicker, when the fireball comes up, how you'll see the camera shake to match it. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff. Like, it's like we're the viewer, and then you see all the people react.
It makes you feel
I'm not
that.
saying I want like natural disasters.
No, but it just
happen,
makes you.
It reminds me of like, when all the stuff is always going off in action movies, and it's cool to see them replicate it.
Well,
obviously,
fire used to be. I mean, it's still challenging, but especially in this, when this was made, fire was extremely difficult to get to looking natural, and it's come so far. Fire and water have come so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so then this next scene here where Violet's like, hey, I thought you said we, and they say stop here. Other people have already been commenting in the forum as well as in the chat saying like, I was disappointed that, they just got done saying that they're going to be this big super family, and now all of a sudden he says like, wait here, trampoline.
I've seen that too.
So yeah, so that was a cool comment. This is incredible. Immediately goes to like all right, stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Shoots her up.
That was like a classic moment for her, like the her like sailboat or parachute moment from the first one.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
it's fun to see
absolutely.
how they use her in different capacities.
Mm-hmm. And look at I love this design of this drill. So it's not only spinning here on the right hand side. This is how it's like carving the hole. But then you've got these like tank treads that are pushing it up, like he's driving up and allowing him to push up as he's cutting through the hole. Yeah, it's just super cool. And it looks like a rocket too.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I see the drill again, I do think that he was probably inside that.
Yeah, I agree.
In that previous. Now that I see it again.
Yep. So then he says like, what is this? It's funny. We meet again.
So that means that they've dealt with the Underminer in the past. I noticed that.
Yes.
And this is they're in a bank now.
So yeah, that's interesting.
You can tell because you can see the door.
So yeah, we've got this same shape over here again. So we already saw the angle looking the other direction.
Maybe this is coming out of his drill. This is like his drill would be back.
Maybe he went right into a bank.
I don't know.
So yeah, that's interesting. But I like.
And
how
it's just incredible, Mr. Incredible by himself. So I'm wondering if when he gets trampolined, he's going towards the bank, and then he has this confrontation here.
Yeah, so he probably jumped over the drill, went into the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And now the Underminer's in the bank. Oh,
sucking up all the money.
Okay, here it is. This circle down below is where the Underminer came. Potentially, did he pop up from that?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
Julie, like, no.
Yeah. But so you've got like a good squash and stretch here. He gets pulled. Look at his head. How it's just like gets sucked in.
Yeah, we'll see how he gets out of that pickle.
Wait a minute.
That's what
when he gets sucked in. That's where he gets sucked into. Is it possible that he gets sucked in and this is where he gets sucked into?
But
I mean, it's possible.
Where's the money and why would there be
It's on the ground.
A control in there? I don't know.
So this is he got sucked in and he probably is running through it like to try to find another way out. And then he comes across this.
It's funny to see all these out of context because when we see the movie, it's just gonna flow and we're gonna be like, oh, that's obvious.
I know. Yeah.
I love this next scene.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that like, so this is classic like Inside Out scene here to set the stage. This is how they yes, this is how they broke the, you know, the Incredibles 2 and I mean not the Incredibles 2, Inside Out, and decided that they were going to do that table scene. Everybody can relate to it. There's so many things, like we already said, that people can relate to. The math portion of it, the other, you know, the being a parent, the struggles, falling asleep, reading stories, all these things that people are going to relate to. And that's how they're going to get audiences in the seats. The more people relate to, the more they're going to be like, haha, that's funny like my life.
Oh, when
funny about my life.
Okay, well, first off, I have a question for you guys. Who's your favorite character from Incredibles?
Dan?
Do
you already have one?
Yeah.
Okay, so Julie's already got hers. What do you have?
Well, I have two.
Okay.
For like just pure, I think she's just hilarious in every way is Edna. One of my top Pixar favorites ever. And then Mr. Incredible himself, I just love seeing him in action, his personality, his struggle, his midlife crisis. I thought it was a lot of fun. So those two I think are my top two.
Okay, so we've got Mr. Incredible in the comments, Edna Mode from Isael Prado, Aiden says Frozone, Willer says all of them, Dylan, Dash, and Edna. All right.
What about you?
Oh, what's yours?
Dash.
Okay, why Dash?
I thought you would say Dash.
Yeah, Dash has always been my favorite. I think it's because I used to run, and would be like, I think one of my superpowers that I would want to be just like Dash. And I think even more so now, I mean, Dash was my favorite when Incredibles was out, but I think even more so now, listening to Dash and how the writers and screenwriters wrote him, like his character, I feel like I'm looking at our son.
Yeah,
because
he does have that vibe.
Yes, because when they're sitting at that dinner table and then, you know, Dash is talking,
right,
and he's like, "Oh, I heard someone said it on TV." I was like, "Oh,
someone said it on TV." But yeah, I mean, that's like a line probably straight from somebody's dinner table at Pixar.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it's you know, our son is almost 4. But it's just like he'll say something. He's like, I'm like, where'd you hear that from? And it's nothing. It's just a word, like a sentence. And I'm like, how'd you put that together? And I just thought, I was like, that's very funny and very relatable. Again, I'm looking at it differently, being a mom now and watching this and seeing it relatable and like saying, oh, it's now Mrs. Incredible's or Elastigirl's chance to in the sun.
Right. So I'll actually mention a couple other things. So Esther Ariaga's here. So hey, and
hello.
She says her favorite is Baby Jack Jack.
Classic choice.
Spoiled Rat says Elastigirl, and that is exactly mine.
Elastigirl?
Yes.
So this is going to be your movie.
So I'm very excied about it. And
well, Jack Jack's probably just going to give me baby fever.
Oh God. So why I love Elastigirl, Mrs. Incredible, Helen Parr so much is because I feel like her character was the most real in the first movie. So Mr. Incredible, clearly like the center of that. But he really was like, and he had a little bit of the midlife crisis thing. You know, he wanted to keep doing super work. He starts working out, all these other things. But why I like Elastigirl, she's doing her job at home. It feels very real. She's keeping it all together while Bob's going off and succeeding, like Mr. Incredible is going to try to do in this one. But of course he fails. There's little moments that make Elastigirl my favorite. For instance, I love the fact that, and I don't know who the heck wrote this in the movie, but where she's flying the plane. First off, she can do everything. Yeah. She can fly the plane. Well, she can morph into like everything she needs to. She knows how to protect her family and other people. But when she's in like that Syndrome's like lair, and she's like does like that moment where she turns and looks at like her hip and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that like glance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there's so many little things that she does that are so real that to me I connect. It's not like I connect with her because I'm a female, but it's like, I don't know. It's just, there's so many layers that I'm like, oh my God, she's like, there's all these,
it's real.
There's layers,
Mhm.
which is why I'm glad that she is taking center stage on this movie. As far as
she's a complex character but relatable.
Yeah. I mean, Dash is also really cool too, because yes, I ran sprints when I ran track, and I always wanted to be faster, so I always liked Dash for that too. And I was a blonde-haired little boy myself, so I relate there. But just her character development and how they created her, I thought was super cool. I also like her design, like the super elongated, the little skinny wrists and everything. Like it just is very curvy and cool. And it's flowy. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. The more you talk about her, it makes sense that like I didn't even think. I didn't really realize how much I love that character either until I just thought about it for a few more seconds. But I really do as well. And a classic moment, everyone loves this moment, is when she like checks out her butt in the mirror. Like classic.
That's actually what I was talking about. That part.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when she was like frozen and she kind of like does that little glance with her eyes.
Oh no!
Okay.
Yeah. When she checks out her hips, like she's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah, I don't know who put that in the original movie, but that was just one of those little like moments, like when they do all the fine detail on things. So I really like that. So Dan, is this where we see your next Easter egg?
Of course.
Which would be
It's the Chinese food box.
The Chinese takeout food box. Yes. Aiden mentioned it in the comments. It was mentioned by
Chinesey.
Brendan in the forum. So yeah, a couple other people noticed this as well.
The question is, though, so people notice it, but can you name? I could think of 4 other appearances of this Chinese food box.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing for this. So, is it a challenge?
Sure. I mean, it's a challenge to everyone in the comments if you got it.
Okay, so I think somebody mentioned 4 of them in the comments, though. So
one of them is obvious because it originated there, so you could just shout out the obvious.
A Bug's Life.
Bug's Life.
Okay.
Inside Out.
The other obvious. That's more apparent. Okay.
Okay.
Wall-E.
Is it in Wall-E?
I never saw it there, but it could be.
Yeah.
It's not on my list, but
I can't remember.
There's a lot of trash in that movie.
Yeah. It probably is at some point. So
I thought at one point. I could be wrong.
Right.
I have specific examples though.
What is Boo in?
Oh yeah.
Monsters
Inc.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. They always fold her up in the box. So somebody else is saying,
I actually now that I just thought of another. So that would be.
So people in the comments
that'd be
are
5
saying,
now. Besides,
people in the comments are saying 6. Toy Story was the first.
No. Okay. So you want to know a couple other ones that I have, or do you want to keep on going?
No, go for it.
So I also have Toy Story 2. It falls out of the glove compartment in the Pizza Planet truck.
Pizza Planet truck, yeah.
Okay, so that's another one. Ratatouille and Linguini's fridge.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then Monsters Inc. Obviously, A Bug's Life, and then Inside Out. So I guess with Incredibles 2, that's 7, I think, that I could count. So
yeah, that's a highly used thing. We're gonna have to watch Wall-E again and go frame by frame.
Yeah, seriously.
Look through all the trash.
Well, that's what I was just looking up.
It's also interesting with the screenshot you just had up, how really reminiscent it is of Inside Out, because it's also apparent that they're in the middle of a move, just like Riley, because obviously their house was destroyed in the original, and so they're obviously moving here.
Yes.
So there's all the boxes stacked. They're eating Chinese food. So obviously that's a thing at Pixar.
Yeah.
And you guys said Toy Story 2, right?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. Okay, so Dan, what year model is the Toy Story? Is the Pizza Planet truck? What year car?
I actually don't know that.
I know.
Go
78.
1978.
There you go.
Because the year he was born.
Woo! Don't tell everybody how old I am.
Too late. Everyone's counting now.
Yeah. So yeah, 1978. I always like that. Okay, so before we share that,
another thing about I'm still on the Chinese food. I'm sorry, but
go for it.
Look at you probably saw this, but look at this is a funny thing to get excited about. The stains on like the roof of the container.
Yeah, right here.
Even back at the shot that you were at, you could see them too. I just love like the smears because you know how it like touches the food when it's on top.
Yeah.
Like when it's folded over. I mean, the detail is just that got me excited for some reason.
Yeah. Well,
it's just so good.
I mean, it's kind of like we talked about on the toy that's on the shelf behind you. When I did the review for that, the Buzz, the mini Buzz from Small Fry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It has like the grease on the outside of the box.
Totally.
So all those little details are super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the coolest Small Fry thing right there.
Yes, your visor.
The visor that the employee wears at the cash register. Love it. All right, so let's start sharing. Actually, I wanted to share this image real quick.
So do you guys think that the Pizza Planet's going to make an appearance?
Do we think it's going to make an appearance?
They made that mistake only once before.
Because it wasn't in the first.
Call.
No, they need to correct it. They need to put it in this one this time.
I think
it's essential.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's more of a thing now. Like it was a thing then, but they were only like 4 or 5 movies in. Like it's a thing now. Like they even put it in shorts sometimes.
Yeah, I think that because they say like a lot of times the sets people place that stuff. I mean, that one's obviously a big one that people are going to talk about and not just hide it in there. But you got it. I think for sure. I'm putting 100%. But how
so? I mean, now that I told you what the decade is.
A good dinosaur has it as an asteroid for crying out loud. Like Brave has it as a wood carving. Like they'll do something. They'll make it the model of the year, and maybe they'll switch it up a little bit in the way that it looks. But it will be just like Monsters U. It was kind of more boxy and monstery,
right?
But it was still the Pizza Planet truck. So maybe they'll date it a little bit to an earlier decade. I don't know, or maybe it will just look like how it is.
Yeah. So this is a bad screenshot as far as the size. So you'll have to tell me if this even comes through, Dan, how it looks. But a setup comparison of the last movie and this movie with
so weird.
The table setting scenes, like how it's framed and everything.
That is crazy. How you don't realize how improved they are until you really see them next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
because like I said, they look like the same movie. When you just see it on its own, it's like, oh, we're back into The Incredibles. It's 2004 again. But then when you see that, it's like, wow.
Yeah. So hang on. I'll pull up one more here. So then this one is Mr. Incredible, his scene at the table. So from before.
Oh, wow.
I just love that the lens is like even the same distance and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the same spots, yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Violet on the right.
Yeah.
What I do love is that Violet has incorporated the headband still from the last one when she...
Correct.
I noticed that first, and I was like, I kind of liked that she was like kind of less like emo.
Right, yeah, with the hair in front of her. Right. Well, because she came out of her shell.
But I just kind of like that. That's still part of her, but
agree. Yeah.
But that little
question, what do you think? So we obviously know it starts right when the last one ended, but do you think after that we'll get a little bit of jump to establish, I mean, to give them a little bit of a different scenario than literally just chronologically continuing on? I know we know that they have to be moved to a new house, and we see that they're in the process. But do you think that there's going to be a little bit of a jump, like a little progression, or do you think it will stay completely linear?
So here's the thing: if it follows the setup that you said that you thought, as far as doing the big action-packed opening, then the title card with the music, and then it goes to the moving after that, I think it's going to stay right in that same timeline.
Right in linear.
I don't think they would come after the title card, do footage in the current state, and then jump forward.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And like, I think it has to be current state because Jack is still super baby infant and like reading, like, you know, how he's reading to him, and Frozone.
It wouldn't be a huge jump though. I'm talking like a couple weeks or a montage that shows like a little bit of a hop in time, a moving montage or something to show that it's maybe a few weeks later or a month later or something like that. Not a huge jump.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think it'll be any bigger than just a couple like weeks or whatever.
Right,
I think
because they're
going to
moving,
want
obviously.
Yeah, because they're going to want to get right back into it again. I feel like. So it appears, now that you're saying this, well, we'll wait to get there. It reminded me at the airplane point.
Okay.
So yes. Okay. So we're saying this with towns and all that. Okay. So yes, that table scene, they say superheroes are illegal. We want to fight bad guys. And then they cut to Jack Jack. One of the scenes that's gotten a lot of laughs was where he's like, shooting about bad guys.
Yeah.
So that part's funny. And then it defines who I am, Jack Dash continues to say. And then
I don't know. I heard that on TV. Someone said
Mr.
it on
Incredible.
TV.
Yeah, we're not saying what. And then, yeah, we heard that on TV. So Frozone, we go to the Frozone scene. Jump forward to that. So yeah, we've got them, but that part. Great animation. Really squash and stretch on his cheeks. Got the rosy cheeks like he had. Just super cute. You're right. I kind of agree on the baby fever thing here.
I know.
Super cute. The Dash thing is from Batman. What are people
it
saying?
defines who I am.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
People
there
think
you
that's
go.
like a Batman Begins reference. Yeah.
Spoiled Rat agrees that it's going to be a little bit of a time jump. And then Magda says Jack Jack finally learned this from his parents.
Because I feel like in order for this plot to develop and for things to move forward, there has to be a little bit of time. Like it's
You're
not going
right.
to be like the next day. You know what I'm saying? Because things are happening. Like Frozone's here, and there's this new scheme going on, and Mr. Incredible has to leave his stay at home and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot that needs to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Okay, so I have something to say, and I don't know if you guys picked up on it.
Okay.
So,
let's hear it.
Notice there's a business card in this scene.
Yes.
And we know
like
that
Mirage?
Yes, and we know that Incredibles, the first one, that there was a business card that led Bob on his journey. And we know that this one is all about Mrs. Incredible, and you know that Frozone is talking about
Winston
Devor.
Is it Devor or Devor?
I don't know.
Well, it's obviously a play on words because like the sister is Evelyn Dever, or I always said Dever because it's like evil endeavor. Because it's like a play on words, evil endeavor. So it's Evelyn Dever.
Yeah.
So that's how I say it. I don't know.
Okay,
Correct.
I like it.
So what would his be then? Winston Dever?
Dever. Yeah.
Winston. What? Because
I don't know if he has a
Endeavor,
play on words. Does he?
No.
That's obvious.
Maybe it's because they did Auguste Cousteau. Like maybe it's like an anagram. Like flip it around and.
I don't know.
But hers is something.
Yeah, but I do like that it's like a business card. Now, granted,
right, because Mirage.
It was a business card for Bob, and now it's a business card for her.
That's great.
Do you think, and that's a cool callback, one of my concerns, I have a long list of likes that we're talking about. I also have a list of concerns.
Yes.
One of my concerns is it too much? I mean, this could go off in a totally different direction that we're not expecting. But from the basic premise and from what we've seen, you have the fan that's the villain, the fan of Elastigirl. You have now the business card and this mysterious, person. You have the stay-at-home antics. You have someone on this adventure saving saving whatever. Do you think that there's going to be more to it than we know, or is it literally going to be a gender flip and it's going to be like the same plot line?
So I could agree with you that could be a bit of a concern because that was kind of some of my comments on Dory, is that it was such a callback answer. Now you could also argue that format clearly worked out well for them, being $1 billion
so did Toy
take.
Story.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be.
Story 3
I don't think it's going to be note for note, but the business card, I really love that callback.
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing I
had
thought
not
of
thought of that.
But what about like the fan villain? Do you think that's too close for comfort, or I guess it depends what they do with it.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like the syndrome kind of thing.
Yeah, like the fan who becomes the villain. Yeah. So, but like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so none of my concerns are validated. They're just thoughts, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I kind of felt like Winston is going to be kind of like a Sterling, where he's not really a villain per se. Sterling from Cars 3. As so much maybe an arrogant son of a gun.
You don't think he has more up his sleeve? Anything more devious?
Maybe he doesn't, but maybe his sister does.
Well, I definitely think his sister maybe has some ulterior motives and stuff like that. And I think maybe he does too, but not as much. And maybe is just
It is interesting that
arrogant-ish.
That they did this brother-sister relationship, because that's something we haven't really seen. So it was obvious. It was an obvious choice to make them brother and sister, and so it'll be interesting to see what purpose that has, and what their relationship is, and all this.
Mm-hmm.
Or could the sister be a super?
Oh, like a secret super?
Mm-hmm. And he's not. That's why he's so obsessed with them.
Could be.
That's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, it's black and white, but here are the pictures of Winston and Evelyn. So their descriptions are: Winston Deaver, voice of Bob Odenkirk, leads a world-class telecommunications company alongside his genius sister Evelyn. Ultra wealthy, savvy, and suave, Winston goes big in everything he does, including his infatuation with supers. He's been a supporter of supers returning. All he needs is a hero or three to help him change public perception and bring them back into the sunlight. And then Evelyn, voice of Catherine Keener, the brilliant brainchild behind her brother Winston's telecommunications company, knows her way around tech. She loves tinkering with tech and has never met a problem she can't solve. So my other thought that I had said, I think last time when we kind of talked about some of the incredible stuff, is with life being so much hacking related. Mm-hmm. Didn't we talk about this on one of these, that it was like that there was going to be a way that they were going to track, like maybe even Mrs. Incredible's suit, that he was going to do some type of tracking thing, that he was going to get a hold of.
Well, they had that in the first one.
What's that?
A tracking device. Right.
Well, so I'm thinking like even more like tech wise. So like if they use like a tech way to like hack into, they get Elastigirl's telephone number. They know that she would probably have a network of telephone numbers of other supers in her phone. Therefore, they can identify some of those and kind of expand the network. I just didn't know if it would be something hacker related, because it's like she knows her way around tech. She's the brainchild behind it. Why would they make her so?
To me, when I hear the tech thing, I see I see Elastigirl. I want to keep saying Mr. Incredible, but I see Elastigirl riding on this souped up, awesome motorcycle,
which is awesome.
Which is kind of tech machinery. I'm sure there's tech to it.
They probably built it for her.
Well, yeah, this is the 60s. That's like super tech.
Yeah, so that's what I think, that maybe if she's evil, I think that she bugs one of these things, and that's becomes an issue. That's the kind of tech, when I hear her say tech, less like phone hacking stuff, but more buggy, and I'm going to woo you with all these things and think everything's awesome, and then kind of thing.
Hopefully it's not another surprise villain.
Yeah, it's used a lot. It's used a lot.
I don't mind it.
I mean, it makes for a good story every time.
It does.
And every time, even though I know it's coming, I'm still like, ooh.
Yeah.
It does get me still. It got me in Coco still after all these times. So
that was a really good way. They really did that great.
So I guess it still works, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk more about this. So first off, again,
let's go back.
You know my drooling over the lighting as usual.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
So love the fact that the left side, the right side of his face, our left, is blue. And then you've got the red on the other side. Always great when you can get a bluey and a reddy orange come together. It always looks great. And then also noticing the business card, since you brought it up, that symbol is definitely, we know it's no surprise, but I just think it's cool that when you look at it real close, you can tell that that's the same symbol that's on the airplane.
Right. That's what I was going to say on the plane, yeah.
Yeah. So he wants to talk about the stuff here. We haven't even...
And we know that, and obviously Bob is smiling because he thinks it's for him.
Right.
And it's not.
Right, because then you get Winston that's coming in. That's help me bring the supers back into the sunlight. We need Elastigirl.
There's a female here I noticed kind of on the right below the wing of the plane. And I was thinking that was possibly Evelyn there.
Over in this area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I zoomed in on like a high res and it was definitely...
I don't know. I think that's just the pilot.
No. Yeah. Well, there's that one, and then next to him, there's
yes,
the women there. Yeah,
that could be. You're right.
So I don't know.
And then obviously you see Mrs. Incredible getting on the plane on her bike. That's down here. But you can also now potentially draw that they moved from Metroville to Municiburg. Because that's where it says "Welcome, Municiburg."
I mean, unless that's just where the airport is.
Yeah, but I mean, it could stand to reason. They live in, you're right, it could be a town next door, but they live in a pretty kick butt house that they move into.
Well, I think it's still kind of like a secret house.
Yeah.
I have kind of a off question to ask you guys. We were kind of talking about Violet, and it's kind of like, remember she was going to have that little movie date.
Oh, with Tony?
Yeah.
With Tony Love.
Do you think we'll see just a snippet of that or hear her talk about that?
See, now that to me, oh God, if this is only a short time ahead, she would have to talk about it if she's following teen girl standards. Like she would still be obsessing over Tony, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless things just get, the Underminer thing happens and then they just get swept away in the move. I mean,
I know it would be so much to add story-wise and stuff. It's so little and minute, but it just dawned on me. So I was just curious.
It would be like a cool throwaway line, like, "Oh, my date with Tony." Like later on, like, "Oh, I missed it."
Right.
Yeah, she just came
like
back
something.
Yeah, with like, I don't know, half-eaten bag of popcorn.
Yeah, she said, "I'll bring the popcorn."
Yeah, right. I was just curious.
People are saying that they still think she's going to be angsty. So Spoiled Rat said that she's still going to be angsty in the movie. And then people are saying they hope they see Frozone's wife. I think she deserves some screen time.
Honey.
Question. So going back to something that you said, this was also on my notes, kind of in my, not really a concern, but kind of. What do you think the reason is for Elastigirl getting the call specifically for her? Like, it almost seems forced in the sense that they want to have Elastigirl be in the spotlight and have this be her story. But what do you think the natural progression of that is, or the reasoning behind that? Why it has to be specifically her?
I don't have a theory, but I would
Did you
guess
think about that though at all?
Yes.
Did that come to mind?
Yeah, I did. I kind of just put it in the back of my head because I kind of feel like Winston's going to describe it. Like, I feel like there's like that. We need
why
to bring
he wants her, or why the film? Oh, okay.
Why he wants her.
Well, I think her superpowers are pretty strong.
They are, but why?
So you think that there's going to be a specific reason then, like because of her abilities? You believe?
Or maybe manipulation kind of thing.
Well,
see, now I want to know his scheme.
Okay,
what's going on?
If they're trying to exploit supers, they could potentially be picking people that they felt were repressed and really want to get into the spotlight.
Right.
Because it does seem like she's kind of like kicking back, living the high life like he was.
Yes.
In the last movie, and she might be getting sucked up into this.
Well, yeah, because she's been a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
I get it. I get it.
Right. Kind of. Let's see if we can get this thing to refocus real quick. There we go. So yeah, I don't know.
Do you think they could be trying to like frame the supers too, to make them to make them be in bad light again?
Yeah, I think so.
That could be something.
Yeah, like, they want to gain
make them
something.
Seem like they're
right.
I just don't know what.
By the way, can I say, like, you talked about the intro in the last movie. One of my favorite parts in any Pixar movie is the part when Mr. Incredible goes to save the guy falling out of the building and he sues him because he doesn't want to be saved.
Great.
Holy cow. I mean, I literally
He didn't want to be saved.
I cannot even begin to tell you how much
with severe emotional pain.
Yeah,
distress.
I love that part for some reason.
I hope there's the humor in that movie. I really hope that there are moments. There are so many moments like the thumbtack on the teacher. Oh, that little rat is guilty.
Right.
Like that, the guy being, suing him for saving his life. There's so many moments like that I hope that like this movie captures as well.
And you know what? Now that you're saying this too, with Evil Endeavor, we had a nameplay of a villain with Bon Voyage.
Yeah.
As well. I keep coming back to that in my head, and I cannot let Winston Dever go out of my head.
Watch. We watched the movie, and it's going to be Dever. TJ's gonna be like, I was right the whole time. No, yeah, I know. You're going to text me tonight at like 2, and you're like, I thought of it. We'll see.
Okay, wait a minute. First Person Pixels is coming up with the reason why he's going to want Mrs. Incredible. Because Mr. Incredible is going to get sucked into the machine, and Mrs. Incredible is going to have to defeat the Underminer, and therefore,
she's going to
get the one that's going to get the praise.
I like that, and then Bob has to kind of readjust himself after failing, possibly, kind of go through that again. Because something I don't love in sequels, and I really hope this movie doesn't do it, and this is also something I was thinking about, is reverse progression that has already been made in the first one to make it similar as the first one. So like, I don't want things to be undone. I like the progression, the growth of the characters in the first one. And I don't really want them to go back in that state, but something like that could cause that.
Well, and that's kind of what other people were saying too. If you're talking about regression, we're just getting the family all coming together and believing they're
That's
supers.
Another thing. Yep.
So that would be like, you're splitting up Mrs. Incredible from it. Now they're not the family of supers. They have to be ordinary. But
now she feels like she's wanted.
I know.
And that she's like working again. Look, I get it because I'm a mom. I don't work. I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I love it. I being a mom is like the most incredible thing in my entire life. It's like it's been a dream, and I'm very lucky I can stay at home. But I get it. I'm here all day. So I get it. I get you're needed outside. Oh my gosh. And like, like you feel wanted, like not like wanted, but like praised. You're doing an amazing job. This is a crazy, and like, it's not that you're stepping away from your family, but then if you took on that role, you would be just like Mr. Incredible. And I'm sure that's a day where he just looks haggard. Because moms are incredible.
That would be funny if it was like one day he's got the black circles and the stubble.
I'm telling you it is. I'm telling you it is. Because if you were here all day, that's what it would be.
I would stay with them all day. I know, but when you've gone to Pixar.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the perfect kind of like transition into one of my thoughts was, I think, and this is something I hope, is that what we see in this trailer, because people have kind of complained that, oh, we've waited 14 years and we're just seeing Bob at home. We waited 14 years to see them in action. I honestly think that we're only seeing like the first, like maybe half, not even half, maybe the first act of the movie. And like you said, maybe that's like a day. I don't think that he's going to be home and she's going to be off on the mission the whole time. At some point, you need the family together. That's what they set up so great in the first one, how they can work together as a team.
Yeah, that would be.
And I think we're only seeing the first act. I believe. What do you think? That would
be a little Cars 2-zy if they did it where all of a sudden, like, you built up this whole thing, like you're saying, and then in the second movie, you completely detach from that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And that's exactly what I have a note here. Going off of that is that it would be too much of a spin-off or a short, elongated short. Because the initial concept with which worried me when I first read the outline was that it seemed more of like a short premise. And that's why I think that is a short part of the movie. I think there's much more to it than that.
I did get the sense, flashing forward to the very end, and I wrote it down, that final moment where he's on the phone and he slams his head down on the...
Bless you.
Where he slams his head down. I got the sense that was where she's telling him, you're doing such a good job in the hotel.
Mhm.
and he's probably slamming his head down because she's like, I'm going to be gone longer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really getting into this, and he's going to be like, oh. So I do wonder
she's laying
if
in
it's
a
going to
bed
be a
by
little
herself.
longer.
Eating a ham sandwich, drinking a Sprite, just relaxing.
But I mean, I feel like they have to show the family at the end was set up as this like team of supers with all individual traits and powers that can work together as a team, and to not show that seems like a crime. I mean, I feel like it has to lead up to that at some point.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully we get them together. Like the dynamic of them in the first film is what makes it so special. So I do hope we get more of that instead of having them separated most of the movie.
Right. Okay. So one quick question before we move on from this. What is that logo supposed to be? Is it like an eye?
I don't know. I'm sure it has some purpose or meaning.
Like a circle and a...
Yeah. All right, so then we get past this part. Munitzburg, I really do.
With his little basketball.
I do, yeah, he's got his little basketball. I really do hope they live there in Munitzburg. You know, this guy's, he's, okay, so suit-wise, he's got all the right details.
Mm-hmm.
That bottom button's not done, and that is proper.
Yes.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Well, I just like the scuff marks on the shoes, how they're the worn pattern.
Correct.
Even like the little logo on the bottom of the shoes.
I wrote that down.
Yeah,
like dress shoes would, and they do.
Yes.
That is a...
It's a thing.
Still carrying through the true 60s with like the Mad Men got alcohol out on his desk,
No
ready
computer.
to go. And no computer, right? The big desk phone that has like the splayed legs that go out and come to a point, like a lot of the furniture designs did then.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just love the designs, the design of these. Brad Bird has such a specific character design choice that he uses, and I love how The Incredibles 2 continues that on. It's very specific. It's very Brad Bird.
It's it's mid-century modern.
Right.
Do you think there's going to be an
even just the characters themselves have a specific look to them.
So yeah, I don't know if you heard that, Dan, but she said, "Do you think there's going to be an Incredibles line of furniture?"
Hey, I'd be first in line.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? We would totally have it.
Mid-century modern.
Yeah.
That's how I would do like my basement.
Doesn't matter. I'd have to have it. But so you said Brad Bird has a very specific design. A lot of the design elements came from Teddy Newton's designs. So that was influenced there a lot too. Just like...
Well, true, but I mean, but he finalized them though. Like he has a look that he's going for.
Right.
I feel like.
Right. Just like on Ratatouille, a lot of them were Jan Pinkava's designs.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of went with that too, because they were like marionette based, which favorite character designs, Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Love it. So, okay.
You notice Ratatouille and The Incredibles, I feel like, have the most different human-looking characters compared to the other humans throughout the other Pixar films.
Right.
They're more stylized than Incredibles.
They are.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they're stylized, but not pushed so far that it's goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But when you see the people that are in the car, like yelling after Mrs. Incredible, they look like Inside Out characters to me. So they could have been reused rigs or whatever.
That's true. Yeah.
So, okay, he's got giant hands. He's got his basketball. This is just the coolest. Okay, so many things to talk about coming up here. So
the logo.
The
new logo, the
which
E and the G.
Yeah, combined together, right? The bike, like you said, is insane super tech for the year.
Mm-hmm.
They come off this elevator. And you got Mr. Incredible. He's got the baby. He's got Jack. What do you think about her new suit?
Love it.
Okay.
I love it. And I love the texture when you see closer shots.
Yes, it's like a really woven, like almost carbon fibery look. Yeah. So people, what's funny is in the forum, Luis said that he didn't really love the suit when he first looked at it. And then Brendan said, so Pixar's biggest fan is his username, said, is that her suit from the opening of the first film?
It's a version of it. It's an upgraded version of it. It's definitely inspired by it.
Yes, because it's got the silvery color to it. I love it. Yeah, so Sarah's saying call back to the original costume as well. Yeah, absolutely love it. It's That Ugly Guy says same motorcycle we saw from the D23 concept art. Yeah, so either one of those will make sense. Okay, so let's go back.
So do you believe that this is their house, like their superhero lair that they're coming out of, like with the water and the bicycle and all that kind of stuff?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Man, that's a
or they're
sick place to
staying
live.
with Edna. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it's like, maybe it's one of like Edna's houses while they're getting back on their feet or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a transition home. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's true. Because, this is cool.
Yeah, because they might not be home, but he is holding Jack, which makes me think the water obviously is a direct callback to the fire, the lava, and
correct
in the first one with when Mirage comes out.
Yep.
So that's cool that they're playing with the elements a little bit more there.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, this math!
Oh man, this is
math
priceless.
Is hilarious.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, our son is not in school, but we have our nephews and our niece are
right.
From elementary school to high school in that Common Core math.
Everybody, it's like all that's in our Facebook feed when kids go back to school is Common Core complaints.
Yes. That is genius and funny.
Yes. And that's what I mean. It's like my life. It's funny.
People
want to relate to it.
Yeah.
So that part was great. So,
But this scene is where I think I found an Easter egg.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think.
So he says, that's not the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want us to do it this way, whips the book around. I don't know that way. Why would they change math? Math is math. Math is math.
Yeah. I love Dash's response. He's like, Dad, it's okay.
Right, yeah.
Like while he's talking, he's interrupting. Dad, it's okay. Someone commented, did you see Dash's hair? And that's what makes me think time has gone a little bit because it's grown out a bit more.
Or is it just that they have the tech that they can actually make it how they wanted it to?
Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe it's not as much grown out.
It could. You never know.
Right here.
Those
balls in the background.
Okay, so this is what Julie thinks. The callback from the original logo.
That's the first thing I thought of, but I wasn't sure.
That is amazing.
Is it real? Do you think it is?
It certainly could be.
Or it's an animation rig. Like, I feel like it's an old animation rig test.
They do a lot of lighting tests that way.
Yeah, where it's just
along the balls and they move it around.
That's just the first thing I thought of.
The original Pixar logo had the pressed dot.
Yeah, it was, and then just the 4 on the other sides.
Right.
Or in the between the letters.
Yeah, so hang on a second. I'm going to pull it up here.
And it has 4.
Yeah.
But they're
diamonds.
They're diamonds.
Though. Well, so wait a minute. It depends on which version.
But anyway, I thought it was an animation rig, like test those balls.
Right. Okay, so hang on a second.
I wasn't
sure.
Share
the screen so I can pull this
It's just
up.
what it reminded me of.
It absolutely does. You're right. So it's got those balls down there. But what's funny is I thought it right when you said it too. So
I felt like it was something.
It's got something. I did notice them, how defined they were, and they seemed very like they don't seem lit the same. They seem older. They seem,
I don't know. It's just, they stood out to me.
I agree. People are also pointing out his freckles. Like, you could never see his freckles that defined in the first movie. Aiden says that math scene reminds me of my dad tried to help me with my math homework. Exactly. That's the point. Yeah, it definitely is going to mirror life.
Even before this whole Common Core thing, like as a kid in the 90s, we were still taught math problems a different way than my parents were back in the 50s or whatever. And so even I can relate as a kid in the 90s, like my parents trying to help me with my math, like they were doing it a different way than I was being taught. And it never went well.
Yeah.
So it's complete. I think every single person can relate to this.
Yeah, for sure. And math.
Whether you're on the kid side or the adult side.
Right.
I love the wear on that book, on the edges.
On the math book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me go back.
The pages.
When he holds it up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Like just.
Yeah.
It almost looks like what's the kind of paper that you like?
Oh, the deckled edges.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it is.
It is kind of.
I also want to note that I love the lighting in this scene. It's like classic The Incredibles at sunset or whatever. I would assume it's sunset.
Yeah.
I just love the color palette in this clip. It reminds me so much of the feel of the first one.
Well, you'll definitely see lots of golden and purple throughout it too, because when
Exactly.
Frozone shows up, you can assume it's probably like a little bit after. Like he gets more disheveled as the night goes on. His shirt's got like wrinkles here where it was like flat pressed, which is super cool.
Well, eventually he has like this whole 5 o'clock shadow. So obviously it's been probably days and days.
Right. Yeah, we'll check out his first one when he left the first night when Mrs. Incredible was leaving. He had on a tan polo. Now he's got on this blue shirt, which is the same one that he's teaching Dash here.
I can see this maybe as part of a montage as well.
Yeah, for sure. So then you've got Baby Jack, which is just adorable.
Oh my
Doozles
gosh.
Doozles are dozing.
Doozles are dozing. And so he says...
And we both talked about Jack's hands. His hands.
Yes.
They keep moving, his little fingers.
It's perfect, like how a little kid always is moving. So like watch his hands here as it plays. You got the breathing of Mr. Incredible's chest.
But see, his fingers are moving slightly.
Yep. And then right there, the soft move, getting ready for the slap. As he says, Doozles are dozing all over Dusseldorf. And again, I like the nursery, like the child's room lighting. It's always soft, very warm. I noticed these characters in the background, and Julie was like, maybe they're Toy Story 4 new characters.
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I was looking for Gerald. I'm like, is one of those Gerald? But no.
Oh, that's funny.
I love this clip. Like you could see she's already in her room service. You see the menu laying there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Whenever we have been lucky enough to visit Pixar and I go, this is me.
Yep.
room service. I have a magazine.
Talking to TJ about the day.
Yeah.
And making him jealous.
Okay.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Oh, here's back to the beginning.
Okay, so back to the beginning.
Oh, and that was another thing. I was like, oh no, and a train sequence is also a callback to the first one too.
Correct. So, but you've got this that breaks free. So this is probably where Mrs. Incredible has to probably jump in and save the train like Mr. Incredible had to the first time potentially too. Because then they show her jump on, but that could be a totally different moment or scene. I was seeing if there was any. So this is like their city logo here, the M. So they're still in Metroville.
What I don't want is that like Mrs. Incredible always has to save the day, and I don't want them to make like Bob this like incapable, like bumbling guy, because I don't want like that, dads to be portrayed in that light either. It's a fine balance between all that, because I don't want her, Mrs. Incredible or Elastigirl, to succeed in everything, and Bob's just like on the couch, like he can't handle anything, like he can't even teach his kid math, or he can't like handle Jack. Like I hope they handle that with grace. Yeah, and give them both moments to shine.
Yeah, I kind of felt like he was more being supportive for Elastigirl. Like, I'm trying my hardest. Yeah. You do what you need to do. I'm supporting. He's being supportive. He's having a hard time because he's never had a parent.
Correct.
Yeah. Not
he's got to step
but
into that
role.
The lead role.
Yes. Not domesticated role, but
just the lead role. Just the lead parenting role.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Somebody, a Willer is saying that Frozone might save the train. People are asking about Void as well.
Yeah, she's nowhere to be seen in this.
I bet they're gonna keep her secret, because how cool does that character sound?
Yeah.
So
what was her power again?
Okay, so here's Void.
Was it telekinesis or something? So
yeah, Void is this one over here. And so it says, voice of Sophia Bush is a young overachiever wannabe, in quotes, wannabe super, and a mega fan of Elastigirl. So this is the callback to Syndrome. Right.
Yeah.
So her superpower is the ability to divert and manipulate objects around her by creating voids that allow objects to appear and disappear and shift in space.
Like a wrinkle in time.
She's a wannabe. So did she get this tech to void things from Evelyn.
Right. Which would be kind of like Syndrome with his 0 point energy.
Mm-hmm. Did Syndrome create his technology? That was all from his mind, or he must have had some kind of sponsor? I can't remember. Like, I wonder if the tech comes from the same.
They never said.
I always got the sense that he did it himself.
Mm-hmm.
I did too, because he bragged about being like so smart. And
correct. Yeah, and he's like, I always save the best tech for myself, because they kind of talk about the fact that he made weapons and sold them to make his money.
Because I was gonna say, I wonder, even though Syndrome's not going to be in it because obviously he's gone now, I wonder if he will have a presence in the sense that maybe this tech is being distributed by the same people, or like, I wonder if there'll be a tie-in anywhere with that.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Or he's just not going to be a part or mentioned at all, which is totally fine too.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to see. Do
you think they'll mention anything about Syndrome though?
Yeah, that's my question. I don't know.
Yeah, because he was
like a nod or a mention or an Easter egg.
I think he'll probably get a one-liner joke, I bet.
Yeah.
Like Syndrome or something like that.
Because it was like right before.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So
I wonder if the babysitter's gonna be back.
Kari.
Yeah, Kari.
Yeah. Which is voiced by Kari.
Yeah.
The animator. So, okay. So we've got the motorcycle scene here. So now what's interesting. So yeah, this is definitely a different day.
Yeah, he's more disheveled now.
He's more disheveled. He's got a brown shirt versus the blue shirt. Or is this the same shirt? It can't be different lighting. That's different. So yeah, he's got the eyes poking out. You can see they're more bloodshot. He's got the kooky look in his eyes.
He does. It's totally the kooky look.
Yeah, Mrs. Incredible comes flying in. Now these are the characters that I'm like, these look straight up like Inside Out characters.
I don't know. Brad does a lot of or whoever's designing does a lot of the narrow. I think they're a little too narrow for the Inside Out character design. Okay. To me, at least, I feel like they're a little bit more angular. But they're great looking. And I love the texture in her sweater. And of course, like we talked about, now's where you could see the suit really more detailed. Yeah,
that's so cool.
And her hair flowing in the wind. Oh, I love this shot.
Yeah, and how much better does her hair look flowing in the wind?
Like the highlights in her hair.
Yeah. Did you notice in the original, if you look at her now, like you can see like the hair points, like where they're sticking in.
Yeah, like especially when she's in the water and she's being the boat.
Yes.
And her hair's flapping in the wind.
Like
I know it's supposed to be wet and everything, but yeah, it looks definitely much improved, which of course we know came
at the time though. That was revolutionary. Like that was to simulate like wet hair.
Right.
That was ahead of its time.
What I never understood is Monsters Inc. came out in 2001. And Sully's fur looked amazing. And why didn't their hair in the first Incredibles look more like Sully's fur, which was more natural?
I don't know.
Because it definitely was chunkier.
Yeah, I don't know.
I always wondered that.
Maybe it was a stylized, maybe it was a decision, like a character design.
It could be.
Decision.
But I feel like they would have wanted the hair to look less like clayey.
Or it was too hard because Sully's fur was this long. When you think of hair.
Yeah, and I guess his hair always just kind of came out and went in one direction versus like being positioned. It was more like just bouncy.
Yeah, because when I think of hair being mastered, I think of Brave.
Right.
Well, and Sully, it was completely all hair and fur. You couldn't see the point of the hair coming out of the skin. Yeah, so like that's the difference too, because hair on a person's head is much more obvious because you can see where it attaches essentially to the scalp, but Sully, it was just the entire body was covered. So I don't know, maybe that's the difference. Good question though, because that's true. I hadn't thought of it.
So Sarah is mentioning that hair and fur are totally different to animate, so that's probably what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because it is more of a fur. It's more fluffy.
Right. Yeah, and then Mario and friends in the chat is saying that looks like the G symbol from Gazer Beam a little bit. I heard
it does.
Logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Somebody said that in the comments, they're like, based on the look of the girl in the yellow's face, that Void. I don't think so.
No.
I think that's just a passing
Yeah.
car. But cool detail on the car. You got a little looks like a rust spot potentially, that's a reflection.
It's a reflection.
That's awesome. Yeah, her glowing logo. The tech, how cool it is, like the paint. That definitely took some of that from Cars 3, layering and creating that glossy look. She goes zooming off here.
I love how Elastigirl is like embracing people being infatuated with her. She's like totally in the spotlight.
Yep.
She's loving it.
Tar in the road.
Dirty concrete walls.
Yeah.
Is that Frozone's same blue sweater, the turtleneck? It looks.
Yeah.
He was definitely wearing a blue turtleneck in the first one. That's his favorite sweater.
He was wearing a blue turtleneck in the scene before here too. Oh no, it's a coat. But he could have been wearing a turtleneck under there.
Yeah.
So we got this. He's like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, we get it.
What's he chewing on here?
Remote.
Is it a remote? Because it's like a 60s remote, just basically channel up, channel down.
Right.
Or volume up, volume down. The blocks could be a Andy's room throwback, a reused element. The glass table with those same splayed legs again. And look at how he goes when he zips. He's like, zoop. What the?
Did you notice that I think his laser eyes are a different color than in the first one?
What do you mean?
Because they shoot out green, I believe, here. But in the first one, I don't believe they were green.
Really? The little teaser?
No, like in the first film.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Were they just lasers though in the short?
I think
Jack attacks.
I think they were red.
Let's go to the videotape. Jack. I laser.
Sure, that should pull something up.
Like purple.
Yeah, look, it's like a purpley color.
Interesting. Yeah, people are saying it was red, it was purple. So I guess it was somewhere in the middle. So now he has green lasers. I don't know. Maybe he can change the color.
Yeah, so here's that's interesting. I-beams. Check I-beams JPEG. All right, so let's hammer through the rest of this. So again, awesome house. And it does feel very much like Edna Mode's with all these rock structures.
Yeah, I wonder where they're at.
Yeah, because
they could be living with Edna Mode in like her guest house while they're getting their feet back on the ground.
Yeah, because he was holding Jack in that clip when she was leaving on the motorcycle. So obviously he's there.
Right.
So they're not, I don't think that they're at their new house, unless this is their new house, but it seems too well established already.
That's what I mean. So that's why I kind of feel like they might be with like an Edna Mode or something.
That would be hilarious if they were her guests.
Because isn't she?
But Jack's nursery was already done, so
she could have got it all set for him, darling.
Yeah.
She wouldn't let anybody come in unless it was designed.
So many questions.
Okay, check this out. Hang on here. Let me stop sharing this. So you notice like that outside with all the rock figures, like I said. And then like look at her like house here with all the rock figures on the water.
Yeah, but that's just
what is that, like a video game?
Yeah. That wasn't, I think it was like fan.
Well, look here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're in the mountains. It looks kind of that's just fan.
Right. Yeah. I still feel like there's something here.
You're onto something, TJ. I just don't know what.
Yeah. All right. So we got this. He's even more disheveled.
Yep.
I can't keep feeding him cookies. Which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's just completely lost it. Like at this point, do you think that this is towards the? Usually they avoid showing, especially in a teaser, the third act. So I can't imagine this is towards the end of the movie.
No, this could still be your montage that you're talking about.
I love Frozone's face.
Yeah, the hand on the hip.
I would love if this was just if we're not even like scratching the surface of the story.
I know.
Of the film. I'm really hoping that this is really covering like the earlier on.
Look how
scenes.
fuzzy Jack's hair is.
Oh, and look at his Frozone sweater. The knitting. What do you call it?
Stitching.
Oh,
the stitching, whatever you'd say. But yeah, so good.
So Aaron71 chimed in and said at D23 they said it was going to be their new house.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So maybe they show them moving in and setting up and getting established.
Right. I do love the way he just says, "I can't keep eating them cookies." And I thought it was interesting that, like, you know, Jack obviously turns into that same monster that he is with Syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he has to.
Right. He gets the hair down the neck, down the back a little bit. But I also think it's interesting that it's kind of the same face that Mr. Incredible's giving him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's almost the same face that he then turns into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's obviously like when he gets angry. I wonder if they're finally going to establish his powers and make him not so sporadic and like, what do you say?
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable. I wonder I know he's just getting into his powers now, so he has all these like things happening. But I wonder if he's going to continue to be all these different things, or if he's going to settle into one.
Right. Right.
Is he a shapeshifter? Does he shoot lasers? Is he a fire baby? Is he he also turned into like a lead weight at one point in the first one.
Right. Maybe he's just frankly the most powerful ever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he can do so many things. Okay.
The kimono.
Hang on a second.
Oh man.
This is Edna's house. I don't care.
No, I don't think so.
Wait for it. See the walls in the background here?
Mm-hmm.
See how they have this rock stone carving like this?
Mm-hmm.
And Edna is in like her mourning garb. Like he's still wearing the same shirt. This is like rocks.
Yeah. Why would he be? Why would he take Jack away to a different house?
And she's in.
Why would she be there?
And she's in her like sleeping, like probably robes or something.
Maybe she was doing some Tai Chi or something.
Well, that's when she talks about raising kids is hard.
Yes. So she says, done properly, parenting is a heroic act. Done properly. Right. So this is her house. I'm throwing it out there.
Okay.
It makes sense though, because like either she would have to be at their house after all that, which wouldn't make sense, or he would have to go to her house with Jack and being in the same outfit as he was the night before. That wouldn't make sense. So I'd be on board for that.
Yeah.
But then the question is, why isn't he at? Maybe she's the extra help. I can't imagine she's helping babysit or anything like that.
I just think it's that they just needed a place to stay while they were getting their feet back on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. See, that's what I'm talking about. That fire is so different from the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's awesome. But I love the fact that this could be construed as like scary for a kid. And then immediately you see him laughing. Though. So that's good.
I love how you get the fire, the lightning, and the lasers in like 0.5 seconds.
Yeah. This is the teaser right here. Like,
only this time he avoids
happening again. Doesn't burn his hair potentially.
No.
Done properly. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How cute.
Yeah. So then he giggles, slams his head down, and that's where I feel like he hung up.
Yes.
And then he's like, yeah, okay, she's going to be gone longer.
See, this looks like where they're moving into. This looks like where they were eating Chinese food.
This is the same, it's the same stone over here.
Yeah, because I see that design on the back wall, too.
Yeah.
So you think this is still Edna's house there, too?
Yeah, I totally do. I don't think they'd be in this big of a house.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make sense that she would have kind of that, like, water wall and all the tech and, like, those. Right. Yeah. All right, man. We shall see on board.
I don't even need to discuss it anymore. I'm confident.
No, it's you have some strong points. I like it.
Yeah. All right, so let's see here. So, all right. What else do we have here? Any last thoughts? We talked about Huck Milner's voice. Luis said, and I might agree with this, he's like, and again, this goes back to what we were talking about Mr. Incredible. Is he going to stay like this? Like, is this going to be too intense if he's like this throughout the whole movie? Like, just like, he's just increasingly getting intense.
Who?
Mr. Incredible.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, I still think it's montage.
They need to make him still likable, and again, not revert back too much of his frustrations from the first ones. That he can revert a little bit. I mean, everyone does, but I don't want him to relearn everything again.
Yeah,
or be angry the whole time. Nobody wants to see an angry person the whole time.
Right, right. Especially when you saw Mr. Incredible get like so many things he wanted in the first film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't want to see him be like selfish and mean. So
right.
We'll see.
So I think that about covers it, right?
I think so.
You asked, what would our superpowers be? So, what would yours be?
What would yours be, Dan?
I don't have a special. What we talked about in the forum years ago was that if
you looked it up.
No, but what we talked about was specifically like your personality if it was transferred to a power. Because you remember my wife Britta, she posted that she would be a healer because she's a nurse.
So it was the Incredibles powers poll.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, let me just.
I think I said the first thing that comes to my mind is flying, because that's just something I've always wanted to feel.
Yeah.
That feeling of flying. But that's not specific to my personality, and it's not a unique power. But I mean, that's going to be my answer, though, is flying. You can't beat that. I mean, you can, but flying would be so awesome.
Oh,
get to wherever you wanted to be.
Yeah, that's not it.
This is a different one. Villains.
Mine would be, I would love to run fast like Dash. I think that would be awesome. I think Violet going invisible, I think that would
come in handy.
Amazing. But honestly, I would love to be like, blink my eyes and think of something and just have it be done. Because first off, I'm a big procrastinator. Second off.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome to be able to be like.
And I always get it done, but I tend to do my best work last minute. Second, I'm not really into cooking and cleaning. I do it because you have to, but I'd love to just go like, done.
Oh man.
Yeah,
anyone would love that. I mean,
like I could just be like, I want pad thai tonight and have it be like steaming fresh.
So that would be like Harry Potter-ish, where like all of a sudden like we're going to transform the dining hall.
Yeah.
And then like boom, it's all the food.
You know, that makes me think of like also, I guess you could say it would be called like teleportation. I don't really love traveling. I wish that I could just like be places. So if I could if I could just jump across time and like be in another space, maybe that beats flying. But flying, I could get there pretty quick too. So either or. I think it's all about saving the trip for me.
Yeah. You would do that. I like traveling though.
I like traveling. I just don't like getting to where I want to travel.
You don't like the whole like getting on a plane, going through the airport.
Yeah, exactly.
I love all that.
It's all the hubbub that I don't like.
Exactly. I like going places and I like seeing new things.
Getting cattle herded through security, and then you have to like go wait for hours on your plane, and then they're like, we need somebody to be bumped. And then they're like, you got to eat fast food, and you got to eat it while you're sitting in your chair waiting for your plane. And then they're like, sorry guys, the flight's going to be delayed.
Well, it's the time aspect. It takes too much time. Like my family's, I couldn't make the trip, but they're going to Disney World today. They're driving down there. But I'm like, if I could just teleport myself, I could be down there for a day, come right back in like a matter of hours. Love it. You know, that's what I want.
So, okay.
That's a good one though.
So let's roll back in time to my answer here. So
you found it?
July 7th, 2014.
Wow. 4 years ago almost.
I said my first reaction would be invisibility.
Okay.
That was when I was younger, and it was because of selfish reasons, and I always wanted to hear what people would be saying about me. But I really don't care anymore. So then I said, I actually think I'd like to go with Dash's super speed. Not just because he's fast, but he's completely accurate with his speed as well. But moving, because of that speed, he even dodged bullets and other fists. So that's pretty cool. But flashing forward, I said I have to if I had to think of a superpower, I'd like to see in Incredibles 2.
Oh. Had they announced it at this point?
2014? No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, it wasn't announced yet.
Wow. 15. So we were just assuming that it was coming?
Or maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't remember when it was officially
Maybe
announced.
It was rumored.
Yeah, I'd have to look back to when it was announced. But so I'd probably go with the ability to control someone's mind. I always think that's a fascinating thing, like an X-Men where Dr. Jean Grey or Professor Xavier can manipulate someone's mind, especially if they're not attuned to how to avoid this happening. I guess in a way, it's kind of like a portion of the Force as well, where it's like, you know, these are not the droids you're looking for. But I'd love to see the
3 powers.
What's that?
You chose 3.
I said when I was young, it was invisibility. Incredibles 1, I would choose Dash's speed.
There you go.
In the future, I would choose mind control, the Force.
Nice. The Force.
So that's what I'd go with. And then...
Did I answer? I don't know if I answered it.
Go for it.
Oh, is she not in there? Did I answer?
I already gave mine.
No, but did you answer on the form, though?
I don't
know.
Because I wonder if you still said speed. Then.
Oh, yeah.
These are... Yeah, those are mine.
Oh, yeah. No, so, I guess I didn't.
Nope.
Did I?
You started out the post. You said Britta had one of her Pixar moods again, coming up with questions.
That was classic.
For my power, you said invisibility, but speed is a close second.
I said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally changed my mind then because I would rather just be places instantaneously rather than be invisible.
Yeah, and then as for other ones, I'd like to be featured in the sequel, maybe a new flying character, but no capes.
No capes.
All right, so I'm gonna.
Oh, someone mentions the raccoon too. I know you're still on that, but that's another good point.
Yeah.
Yes. What's happening with the raccoon?
Raccoons are so cute.
It's gonna be a thing.
It's gonna be in the trash at Edna's house, which is when he's gonna discover his superpowers.
I love how you say it just like matter of fact. That's where it's gonna be.
Dan, it's there.
I know it is because I trust you. You know what year the Pizza Planet truck. Why would I doubt you?
1978. So Incredibles sequel. So Brad Bird would consider it. Was announced in May 16th, 2013. It was officially announced March 18th, 2014. So it was announced at that point.
Cool. Whoa. So we're going on 4 years since then.
Yeah. So that was Cars 3 and Incredibles 2 in development.
Wow. Time flies, man.
Yeah. No kidding.
Ridiculous. I can remember we were in this room. I was sitting here. Julie was in that chair. We were listening to the Disney earnings call where it was announced. And I was like, start typing. Like we were putting together logos. We were doing everything. We were absolutely one of the first to throw it out there after it was announced because it was on the earnings call. And that was like a shock. We were not
and they're
expecting that.
Right on schedule too, because Cars 3, was a year apart from Incredibles 2, so it sounds like they were right on target.
Well, and Incredibles got bumped up a year. It was supposed to be.
Oh, when it got swapped with Toy Story, yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out next year, June 21st, but now it's coming out.
You are right.
June 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's my last point. We didn't talk about. We could be quick if you want to wrap things up, but a short. Any whisperings of the short?
Okay.
So I think it's going to be smash and grab.
Interesting. I thought that was more of like an experimental thing.
It was. It was part of their shorts division. But you could be right. I don't disagree with that because we haven't heard anything else at this point. There was not in any film festivals.
Mm-hmm. What was the last one that was it? What was the last one that was literally only announced like a month or two before? And we were like, where the heck is the short announcement? There was one that was way late in the game.
Sanjay's Super Team.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
We
were at the Good Dinosaur. Oh, no.
Was it Blue Umbrella?
No,
that one.
Was it Lou? Was it Lou? No, Lou had a...
It
had a... like we knew about it.
I don't know.
Because you know what I'm talking about, though. There was one, and I kept on asking him, like, dude, when are we going to hear? It's been like, usually you hear about these things like 6 months in advance to a year.
Was it for Coco? And then they just did the...
No, it wasn't for Coco.
Olaf?
There was one that we literally didn't hear an announcement for until literally maybe 2 months prior. But anyway, we'll think about that later. But this is coming up, along those lines where it's like we haven't heard anything.
Right. I remember, it's so funny. I remember so many announcements when they happened. We were eating dinner at Chili's when they announced Lava for Inside Out.
And that's probably the last time we ate at Chili's.
That's been a while. I just remember being like, we got to go right now. We were like, wrap it up.
Dude, I think we have the same pencil. Only you have the red font.
That's right.
Oh, I have the nice. I just noticed that. Anyway, Chili's, go for it.
Didn't I send you one of those pencils?
That's probably it. Or maybe that was from Jeff. I don't remember.
Could be.
But yeah.
They're plentiful and they're so good.
They are. I was taking my notes with it today.
Yeah, I was scribbling some on mine. Anything else? Anything else, Dan?
I think I hit everything very naturally. All of my notes, they were not in any order, but I hit like every point. So I'm good.
Okay, so one last thing that I got to throw a plug out for. This is some great conversation that we had, not only between the three of us that were visual on here, but in the comments. And there were some great insights as far as, just different thoughts that people were throwing out there that we were commenting along with. And there's a lot of people that have been in here coming and
even
going,
between each other, just talking.
And between each other talking. If you guys that are in the chat are not on the Pixar Post forum, which you can go to pixarpost.com and hit the forum button or go to forum.pixarpost.com. These are the kind of comments that we need in there and I want more of in there because
this is like a live forum essentially.
It was, and that was some great insights. So if you guys are not members of that, sign up. It's obviously free. It's just a forum that we host. We recently changed the design of it. And we also added the ability for everybody to upload photos directly to it, whereas in the past they had to be hosted elsewhere, and then you put the photo link in there.
Oh, you finally did that.
I did.
Nice.
You've had that control since 2014, but other people did not. So there's a lot of improvements that have happened in there. So check it out if you are not, because this is great conversation, and I'd love to be able to have these kind of thoughts in there as well, because boy, oh boy, that I had some mind-blowing moments here. The one with, what was the one that really blew my mind that I freaked out about?
The business card?
No, the user's name was Pixel. Anyway.
Oh, the Elastigirl's gonna save the day.
Yes.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
Yes. Like I had not thought of that. That's the stuff that we need to talk about. We need to get this Pixar community rolling in there with those kind of comments.
Obviously, all these folks really know their Pixar. They knew the Easter eggs we were talking about. They knew the dates we were talking about. They answered some of our questions we were trying to figure out. So obviously we got some diehards who know their stuff. So we would love to have you in there.
And Dan's a moderator. So Dan will be in there.
Yeah, I feel like I would love to get the conversations they were so strong at one point, and we had conversations just like this, and we need that energy again and those thoughts.
That's where I would
love to see
that's why we went through the redesign, and that's why we did some of the other things. There's also a chat feature in there now. So when you log in the lower right, it'll show you who else is online at that time. And if you click their name, it'll pop up a little box and you can just say, hey, and start talking directly to them. If you have something sidebar you want to talk about.
We're revamping a bunch of stuff.
We are. We're always evolving.
Yeah. But we've got a plan. We're bringing back the Pixar Minute.
That was a good one.
Do you remember the Pixar Minute, guys, in the chat here? So we're going to right there on that.
I thought you were pointing at like a spider on the ceiling. The look you gave.
Oh.
Well, I think it's because I got one on the ceiling earlier this morning. So the way you looked, I was like, I thought you were pointing at me to get something.
No, so we put up our Bing Bong Fathead, the sticker. We revamped some of our shelves. We have the second shelf that we've made to just other things. I've moved all my Pixar books to only be on that shelf there. This is John Steinbeck and Harry Potter because those are incredible. And then all my original comics from when I was a kid, Garfield and.
But yeah, we're bringing back videos. We're doing.
She doesn't want me to tell all this.
We're doing bring back podcasts now.
Right.
We had a lot going on at the end of the year.
Well, we had a lot to revamp in here too.
Yeah.
Squidsy, as our son calls him, Pearl. Stuff the flush. Squidsy. Okay, so anyways, and yes, Riley, there is an Apple HomePod back there, as well as a whole bunch of.
Yeah, though we haven't picked it up to see if it leaves.
Oh, I did since I got home. There's no white ring for people that are watching for knowing that about the HomePod.
Yeah, it is good. I didn't when he told me he was buying it. I was like, okay, but no, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I was gonna play your brother's music that you gave me.
Oh, do you still pop that on sometimes?
I've got it.
Nice.
It's in my library.
That's cool.
So yeah. So anyways, I think we covered it off.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to everybody for hanging out. Can't wait for the Art of Incredibles 2 book. Yes.
Oh yeah. Always best.
It's available for pre-order on Amazon. So check that out.
What about Tony?
What about Tony?
Tony may or may not show up or be mentioned.
Yeah.
I would love to see so I'm gonna, of course, so you guys know me, and if you guys in the chat don't know me, but every year I have a Pixar themed birthday. So this year, of course, Incredibles. So if you've been following along, you know this. So, but this year it falls like right on Memorial Day, which we always do a cookout with burgers and stuff, and hot dogs and the whole shebang. But Britta was saying, my wife, if it was just on a normal day, she'd be making Tony loaf for dinner. And we can't do it. It was the perfect opportunity.
Oh.
And it's lost because we're not doing meatloaf on that day. But yeah, look for that.
Okay, so
she needs to still do it.
Yeah.
Maybe Tony loaf burgers. I don't know.
Maybe make like a I don't know, like angel food cake or something. So it's like cakey or something like a.
She'll figure out a way to get it in there somehow.
That's awesome.
But she has the ideas of floating.
She's so creative with that.
Yeah. Okay, so I have one more thing. So Isael Prado is saying Pixar is not going to believe how much money Incredibles 2 is going to make at the box office. So let me tell you why, and I don't want to jinx anything, why I think that this is going to be a potential $1 billion movie. Because on our site, unlike any other post that we do, every post related to the Incredibles is by far 35% higher reactions, comments, Twitter retweets. It is way higher than the view count is way increased over anything, over Dory, over Inside Out, everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Since the very beginning when it was announced, it's always been like a 30% higher view count.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty big bump. So anyways.
And people have this is the sequel. You know how people always say, oh, nobody asked for that sequel. Like this is the one people have asked for. You can't say that about this one.
Yeah.
And so multiple generations at this point are going to see this. I mean, people our age, your age, their kids. This is going to be an everybody movie. Plus the whole superhero fad right now.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
It's still not. Yeah, it's still not minimal.
Exactly. People can't get enough of superhero stuff. So it's going to be huge. I mean, I sure hope so.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's going to be our parting comment for now. Then, until the next official trailer comes, which we don't know when that'll be, but. So February,
probably in March. And then we have the merch. I saw some people talking about the merch. I'm the merch guy. At the Disney store with June releases, it's always end of April.
Yeah.
Consistently. So you can expect the Disney store merch end of April, mid to end of April, and then mainline Target, Toys R Us type stuff right around then into early May.
Yeah, it's always like
beat for beat.
It's always like a week to like 2.5 weeks later that it hits the mainline other stores.
But a Disney store always. In fact, one of my managers who was already telling me that they're starting to see the listings for it. So it's already in the system. It's going to be coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's no surprise there. We know it's coming.
Yeah.
So awesome, guys! That was so much fun.
Yes, I can't even believe there were so many extra insights that came out of it. So and again, we say it every time. Literally 2 hours. I told myself I was going to keep this to an hour tonight. 2 hours over a 1.5-minute teaser.
I thought we were only going to do like an hour, and I'm like, can we really talk that much? But we can. We can. I underestimated.
So Darth Hamilton is saying, see you in March. Yeah.
See you in March.
All right. So in the meantime, of course, you guys know what to do.
I'm Julie.
Stay tuned to PixarPost.com for the latest Pixar news.
You forgot one thing. Stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You forgot the all week.
Next time. I'm sorry.
All right. So we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Oh, Jace just got here. I have to rewatch the stream. Sorry we missed it.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah.
Good insights that Jace has been doing on his channel there. So.
Yes, thanks, Jace.
Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk to everybody later.